This video is brought to you by ncix.com. Great technology, selection, and service.
This is a premiere video that we brought for you today. What we're looking at is the diverse set of environments that we're going to just show off, right? The great thing about Fable Legends, it's a game that you can play on your Xbox One. It's a game you can play on a Windows 10 PC. And what we're really getting to build right now as we prepare to release the game later this year is an incredibly cool story-based world that you can spend time in with lots of different heroes, cool characters, more than 2 dozen different creatures to fight against. And all those options will be there regardless of platform you or your friends are playing. Because that way, you can play across platforms, just like I said.
And I immediately want to ask about the way that you are able to use graphical technology. We talked about how more isn't necessarily better. How do you use that computing power realizes?
Basically, what it gives us the power to do is to put more beautiful pixels in a smaller space, right? Fundamentally, Fable Legends is about drawing this beautiful world that we never got to see before. We're going back to Albion, a really beloved place, but we can do it with a level of graphics on both platforms that our fans have always wanted us to deliver, cutting-edge technology right at the forefront.
Now, I want to shift a little bit over to some of the gameplay choices you made. I understand that Fable Legends is a free-to-play game. And there's always some of that dangerous stigma that people have associated with that. Walk me through the choice around the business model.
I think, we thought about it's a new kind of game that we were building in Fable Legends. And we really wanted the opportunity for everyone to play it and make their own decision. It's a different kind of game. It's not exactly like Fable 1, 2, and 3. It has the opportunity for multiplayer. It has a few villains that can play oppositionally. And I think that meant for us that the only way for our fans to find out if they were going to love Fable Legends was simply to play it. When we talked about it a lot, that just meant that we wanted to put it in their hands and let them take a shot.
And how does this allow you to do an extended long-term development for Fable Legends?
We're going to plan for years of content. We're continue to make new characters, new quests, and things like that. And there had to be some way that we could deliver that to the user. It couldn't just be a $60 box or, subscriptions are kind of unused model these days. So when we talked about it, it just seemed to be the best way to do this and continue to deliver great quest content and keep putting out new creatures and heroes for the two sides to play.
And I cannot disagree with the beauty that we saw there. But of course, I'm super excited it's going to be on the PC, so I can play it so easily.
Yeah, it's great. It's really easy to play on the PC.
Yeah.
You can plug in a controller, you can use mouse and keyboard, you can do whatever you want.
Awesome. And of course, James, I've been following Gigantic for quite a while. Let's take a look at some of the footage you brought here today. And for some people who are unfamiliar with Gigantic, it has a pretty unusual core gameplay to it.
Yeah, so as the name implies, it centers around those gigantic creatures. It's 5-on-5 PvP. Play it on Windows 10, play it on Xbox One, and each team consists of 5 unique heroes, but they also have this guardian, AI control, and is the objective of the game. So you've got your guardian, the enemy team has theirs, and whichever guardian dies, their team loses.
And I know that one of the core elements to the gameplay is that it's a mix of a shooter and a MOBA. How do you merge those two together for the hero creation?
It's actually been pretty fluid and really fun for us from a development standpoint. So, as we look at these different heroes, what we tried to do is just, we started with the basis of shooter controls, and we wanted to draw on MOBAs and strategy games and look at ways to make it a really compelling, strategic back and forth. But each one of these heroes gives us a chance to create a character that works for people who have different skill set as players or like a different playstyle. So some of these guys really require some quick aiming. Some of them don't. Some of them are more kind of an action brawler. Some of them use more sophisticated skill interactions or more for kind of RPG players.
Well, I know that a lot of MOBAs, the heroes are very statistical based. Yeah, it's defined by those numbers. But in a shooter, so much of what seems like would define a character's strength would be the player's ability to aim. How do you balance those two?
We assume that you're good at the character depending on what the character calls for, and some of them
That's a bold move.
some of them don't call for as much aiming skill. Some of them are much more about tactical thinking, positional thinking. So there's a character for Zelma that summons these portal creatures, and so she's not really doing the combat herself, but she's got to think strategically about how she places things. Some of the characters, the melee characters, more about when you're going to get in there and mix it up versus when you need to hang back.
And I know that there's a lot of very unusual hero design in the game. What are some of the ones that you're particularly excited about?
Man, all of them are a lot of fun. You know, I think
You don't get to say that answer. You
Yeah.
have to get some really cool ones. Yeah.
all right.
Yes.
We've actually had a lot of fun on the team, just letting people sort of put their creative vision into things. So you know, each character sort of represents different influences from different team members. But Vadasi is one of the characters that everyone's really like playing. She's got the forearm. She's a character that can run around and heal, so uses a beam skill to heal. But she can also hurt enemies, and with all the characters, during the course of the battle, you get to pick upgrades as you go. And those upgrades are branching upgrades on each skill that can make the character play in very different ways. So you can build Vadasi to be sort of the ultimate healer, or you can actually build her to do some real damage to it.
Well, like I said, I've been following development, your games for quite some time. Very excited to see the full product soon. I understand, according to the screen, that the beta is in August?
Yeah, we're moving along. It's going to be closed beta, though we're going to try to let a pretty good number of people in, and then look for open beta later this year.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming out once again.